visualization isn't just for Tableau and Power BI. In this video, I'll show you how to create charts and graphs in Microsoft Excel. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. Don't forget to download the data at the top of the description so you can work along with me. And once you have the data open, come over to the tab labeled Income. We're not going to be doing anything too crazy in this video, but like with any video that I create, I'm going to show you the core functions that I use on the job as a senior data analyst. As you can see, we have a lot of someone's income data. They have 4 income streams from day job, DoorDash, ghostwriting, and dog walking. They do a lot. And then over here, they have some of their ghostwriting data, including their clients, the month, and their income. First, let's focus on this first table. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom us in a little bit just so we can see better. And to start playing around with some charts and graphs, we will just come up here and click on Insert. And as you can see, there are a lot of different options. We have column charts and bar charts. We have line charts. We have pie charts. We have tree maps or hierarchy charts, I guess they are in here, as well as several other options. To start building something, what I always do is I will just select all of our data, including the headers that we're interested in, and I'm just going to click on recommended charts and see what pulls up. And as you can see from here, we have this column chart, we have this pie chart we can use, we have a bar chart, which is basically the same thing as a column, just in a different direction. And then we also have this funnel chart, but as you can see, it's kind of a weird use case for this. Now, I'll be honest, 99% of the visualizations that I use on the job are either a bar chart or a column chart, but let's start out by looking at the pie chart for this. This is covering our other table a little bit, but I'll move it once we get over to that data. I don't often like using pie charts because you have to kind of keep looking back between the legend and the actual pie chart, and that just is a little bit confusing. It's not as easy to get insights at a glance, and insights at a glance is what I like to aim for whenever I'm creating any kind of chart. But here's what we got. We can see we have all of our different income streams broken down into pie slices. It gave us the title January income, and then we have the legend down here. And the cool thing is we can mess with any of this. So let's come up here first to the title. I'm just going to select all of this title, and then let's say we want this to be nice and big. Let's go ahead and put it as a 20. And we are going to make this bold. If we wanted to, we could change the color. We could change the alignment of different things. But for this, we just want it bigger and we want it bold. Now looking at this chart, I would like it if there were data labels so we could see the exact numbers or percentages. And to do a lot of what we're going to look at, we'll come and click this plus for the different chart elements. And here we can look at and mess with different things. And let's go ahead and check data labels. Now, right off the bat, this is already more useful for me, so I know exactly how much, and I'm not just trying to guess proportions from the pie. One thing I will note is this number right here is kind of hard to read. So I'll just click and drag this right here. So that way we can see it as easy as we can these others. And that looks pretty good to me. Let's come on down here and look at our legend right here. And there are different things we can do here. We could select our whole legend, and for some reason the font isn't coming up, but let's say we want to size this up to a 12, make it easier to see. That might be a little bit too big, but I'm just trying to show what we can do. And if we want to filter our data, we can come over here and click the filter icon. Here we can filter based on what categories we want included. And as you can see, this is also interactive, so that's really handy. And then if we want to change the style of the chart, we can just come right here to chart styles and we can look at a few different versions. This one is kind of modern, so depending on the vibe we're looking for, we can come and do that right here. Now I just clicked Control Z a few times to get us back to where we want to be. And then the last thing that we'll look at, maybe we want these to be a specific color. Sometimes if you have a lot of categories, it will give you similar colors. So we will click once to select the pie as a whole. And then let's click again just to look at this blue. Let's come over here to fill and line. And right here, we could change it to whatever we want. Let's say we want that as red. And then that lets you change colors. Now there are a million other things over here that you're welcome to come and play with, but everything I just showed you is how I use charts and graphs on the job. Now let's go ahead and move this over here, and we're going to scroll over to the side. Let's get this way out of our view. We don't need that anymore. Now let's look at this data. So let's go ahead and select all of our data. Let's come up here and click Insert and click Recommended Charts. Now, as you can see, there isn't a really good option here. There are ways to visualize data like this, but honestly, I usually will focus on 2 columns that I want to look at data for. So let's see first, I want to model our data by month. So let's select the month and income data only, and then come up here and click Recommended Charts. This one doesn't really help me because I don't need to see January, February. This line chart could be useful if I fixed it a little bit. If I got it where it just had 1 January and 1 February, that would be a good representation of looking at the data over time. However, at least of these recommended charts, this one looks the best to me. So we have the sum of income by month. I don't really care for it to say sum of income, so let's get that out of here. Let's go ahead. I usually will make the chart title a little bit bigger so it stands out. We'll make that bold. Next, I'm going to come here and I'm going to click on our bars. Since we're looking at income, I want to look at that as green because income is good and money is green. So that looks pretty good to me. Now I'm going to come and select our x-axis right here. Let's make this just a little bit easier to see. Maybe I got to share my screen later, so I want to make sure everyone that I'm looking at this data with later is able to see that. And let's do the same thing right here. And there we go. Within just a few clicks, I was able to create a great chart here to show the income growth by month. And if I want to get really fancy, there are, again, a million different things I can do. However, if I just need to have a chart to put on a PowerPoint or something, this is literally all I do on my job. I actually see that for some reason it created a new sheet for this chart. So let me come back over here to income. And now I want to look at the data by client instead of by month. And to do that, I'm going to select all of the client data, and then I'm going to hit Control. I'm on a Windows computer. I think you can do this with Command on a Mac, but I'm going to select my first column, hit Control, and then I'm going to select all of the income column. And that's a really good tip to know. If you want to select 2 different data ranges, holding Control will allow you to do that. And actually, now that I've selected this, I see that we have a couple of typos here. It says accounting instead of accounting, so let's go ahead and fix that. And I bet there's been other typos in this Excel series, so be sure to go check out all of my other videos. So let's go ahead and select this data again, and then come over here to the Insert tab and look at the different charts. I think a tree map here could be cool, but again, I almost always just go with the bar chart. And again, I'll usually just go with this recommended chart. So let's look at a bar chart for this time. And as you can see, now we can really easily look at who is our more popular client. So where we're getting the most of our money. And we can see here with Bill's Accounting, then we get Brunch Pals, Data Dude Consulting. That could be what I called my company if I had a data consulting company. So let's come up here, let's format our title again. We'll just come over here to home. Let's make this an 18. Let's make it bold, and why not? Let's go ahead and make this green. We really love the color green here. And then once again, our axes are small, so let's go ahead and bump these up a little bit. We'll make, okay, that's a little bit too big. Let's make that a 10. We can come over here, let's make this a 10 as well. And then just like before, we want to have data labels so we can actually see it. And as you can see, there are actually different options. If we wanted it to be on the inside for certain ones, we could do that. But we'll go ahead and leave it on the outside end, and that looks pretty good to me. And again, depending on what I'm working with, maybe there's a certain color scheme I want to go with. Maybe there's a better way to visualize data, but I'm telling you, bar and column charts are my go-to. They are really mostly what you need. And then for specific use cases, a pie chart can be really good. You can check out a tree map. I know before we had seen that funnel chart. That might be good if you're analyzing a marketing/sales funnel. Feel free to come over here and check out all of these different charts. For certain use cases, a pie chart might be useful, a tree map might be useful, but most of the time, a bar chart or a column chart are my go-tos, and I think they'll get the job done for you as well. Anyway, I hope this video helped. If you want to become a great Excel user, be sure to go check out all of my other Excel videos in my Microsoft Excel playlist. And whether you want to be a great data analyst or an Excel wizard, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. I post a brand new video every single week helping you become the best data analyst or Excel user that you can be. And with that, I'll see you next week.